Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 4 of our Introduction to AI for Business class. This week, as you all know, we're going to be focusing on the impacts of AI on marketing in the business world. So, this is an important topic simply because it touches every aspect of modern business, marketing and customer engagement. Artificial intelligence is completely changing the way that businesses connect with people. To give you an example, in my role as running basically being responsible for an automotive retailer group's tech stack, I have rolled out an AI phone answering system this week, and it's been kind of my project of getting everyone trained on it, but also making sure that the AI functioned correctly. And it's been a trial and error process. There's definitely been some ups and downs, but overall, now that the system's kind of fine-tuned, we're starting to see some real impacts in the customer experience, especially in enabling customers to accomplish their goals much quicker and much faster. So before you guys get into the concept of I'm not going into marketing, I want you to think about this. Marketing is no longer just about ads and promotions. It's about data, communication, trust, and increasingly AI-powered decision-making. So whether you're running a small business, managing HR, working in sales, starting a brand, I think it's important to understand how AI reshapes not just marketing in its traditional sense, but it's reshaping customer relationships. And knowing how to use that tool effectively can give you a powerful edge in the world of business. Now, let's start from kind of the big ideas, right? We're going to start at a macro level. So for decades, companies used what we call the marketing funnel. And it was a simple path where customers moved through stages like awareness, interest, decision, and then finally purchase. So the goal was to attract as many people as possible, and you start up here. And then you get more people who are more interested. You get more people who would put in leads. And then eventually you'd have a group of individuals that would purchase. And then that cycle would repeat. But there was a problem with it. And that's because that once someone bought, the funnel ended. Now, of course, they tried retention methods and discounts and all sorts of ways to keep customers engaged. But what they found was that you needed to be able to retain those customers. And there's a unique company called HubSpot. Okay. And HubSpot is a CRM, client relationship management tool at its core. But HubSpot did so much more. They created relationships between businesses and customers. They really pioneered this ongoing email campaign, getting customers to constantly re-engage with the brand. And over time, they created this idea of transitioning from a funnel to what they would call a flywheel. And most recently, they've progressed that and developed that into what's called a loop model. So in the flywheel, customers aren't an endpoint, they're the fuel. Okay, so there's 3 major stages. It's to attract, engage, and delight. And then those 3 feed into each other in a continuous loop. Happy customers become repeat buyers. They refer their friends, and they even market and tell everyone about it, the product themselves. Now, the reason this is important is because AI has been able to exponentially improve that flywheel. It's made it faster, it's made it smoother. And it's done so through giving companies the ability to analyze massive amounts of data, but also to customize the material that the customers are seeing. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about each stage of the flywheel and then how AI makes it smarter, faster, and more personal. So AI helps businesses identify exactly who their audience is, where they are, and what kind of content resonates with them. So you're able to use AI-powered ad targeting on platforms like Google or Meta, content generation tools like Jasper or ChatGPT that help marketers write emails, blogs, and social media posts, and then search optimization that adjusts messaging in real time based on trends. So instead of casting a big fishing net, businesses are able to attract the right leads with relevant, customized content automatically. I'll give you guys an example. Um, because of how many projects I'm involved in, I'm pulled in multiple directions at all times. And I've noticed that I've reached a point, I guess maybe I'm getting a little older, but I'm losing the ability to remember everything or all my thoughts in real time. So sometimes I'll be like, what was that idea that I had? Like, it'll come back to me, but I won't be able to access it when I want to. So I went down the rabbit hole of note taking, which is okay, but it's too slow for the way I think and kind of how I like to work through things. And I found something interesting in the form of a voice recorder. Now, of course, because I'm in AI, I want to look at all of it. I got the Meta glasses. Sometimes you guys will see me with those, so I can speak to it and tell it to remember this and that. But I've really dialed in that I wanted to get an AI voice recorder. Well, I started doing some research on Google to try to find the leading ones for transcription and audio quality and battery life and all that kind of stuff. And all of my social media feeds now have become inundated with basically two different options. One of them is, I think it's called the HiDoc P1, and then the other one has been the Plod Pro or Plod Note Pro. And it's really interesting because it's a nonstop feedback loop for me of all the advantages of this tool, of this tool, of this tool, of this tool. So now I'm at a point where every time I look at social media, it's there and it's like, man, I really do need to order that. The only thing that's preventing me from buying now is because I recognize that I'm being marketed to so aggressively. The next step, though, is engaging. So now that you've attracted someone, how do you build a relationship? And this is where AI really has pulled ahead from previous marketing types. You have chatbots that handle customer questions instantly, even outside of business hours. For our auto group, I can tell you we rolled out a AI-based CRM that responds and engages with customers 24/7. Now we have recommendation engines like on Amazon or Netflix that suggest products or content based on behavior. And then we have predictive lead scoring that tells sales teams who's most likely to buy. I'm sure somewhere out there, HiDoc has a predictive score that has me scored really highly as a potential buyer for their voice recorder. So, have you guys ever noticed that when you visit a website, there's an AI powered chatbot that greets you, it helps you find a product, sends coupons? These are examples of AI tools that are engaging with you in real time. The next part of the flywheel is going to be the delight stage. And this is all about keeping customers happy and turning them into brand advocates. So, in this case, you're going to have use cases where businesses automate follow up emails and surveys. They personalize loyalty rewards. They anticipate customer needs even before they ask. And tools like HubSpot, Salesforce, Zendesk, they're using AI to monitor customer sentiment. They track satisfaction. They'll even generate smart suggestions for upselling or retention. And here's where it gets interesting. It's that companies that focus on delight often grow faster and retain customers longer. And AI makes that scalable. So at Apple, when I worked for Apple, one of the concepts we had was that in every interaction, we wanted to surprise and delight our customers. Now, whether that was our internal clients and stakeholders, or whether it was our external customers, that was our philosophy. And as a result of that, Apple has historically done pretty well over the last 20 years. That concept of focusing on delighting customers is a huge part of what's making customers continue to buy and have interactions in this digital era. Now, HubSpot has recently taken that a step further. They've introduced what is called the loop. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's a really interesting way that they're using AI. And we discuss it pretty in detail throughout the course. So I would invite you to definitely take a look at that and understand it for this week. Now, companies, let's talk about some real business examples of AI in marketing. Some of you may have heard of a little known cosmetic store named Sephora. Sephora uses AI to recommend beauty products based on your preferences and purchase history. Their chatbot even offers virtual makeup consultations. In healthcare, you're going to see the use of AI to personalize content for customers, emailing them articles, appointment reminders, and wellness tips tailored to their medical history. And then you have, of course, in education, platforms like Coursera. They suggest courses, certificates, and career tracks based off of what you've learned so far, and they use AI to match the content to your goals. So why does this shift matter for your career? Um, Even though you may not be going into marketing, AI isn't just changing how companies market. It's changing how they build relationships. And relationships are foundational to all forms of business. So no matter what field you're working in, whether it be sales, HR, customer service, even finance, um, there's going to be tools that personalize communication, analyze data, interact with chatbots or automated platforms, and you're going to be expected to understand how customer experiences are being designed and delivered with the help of AI. If you want to lead a team, grow a business, or even build your personal brand, you have to think like a modern marketer, customer first, data aware, and AI literate. So it's really, really important for all of us, no matter what we're going to do. Now, even if you're in the education space, there's still a ton of data that has to be recognized to understand and align with the goals of our student population to make sure that we're meeting their needs. So no matter what field you're in, AI and AI through a marketing lens is going to be crucial. So this week, we're going to have our normal readings as well as video assignments. We're going to have a discussion and a writing assignment. I invite your thoughtful reflection on all of the content that we're going to discuss this week. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help. I would say if there's one thing I could leave you with today, it's that marketing is no longer about guessing, it's about predicting. It's no longer about reaching the most people. It's about reaching the right people at the right time with the right message. So think about this material not as a student, but as a consumer, as a future leader, maybe even a brand builder. AI isn't just changing how companies are speaking to customers. It's changing who's listening and how we earn their trust. So let's dive into this week's material. Let's see how AI is reshaping the way that we connect. And if there's anything I can do to help, don't hesitate to connect with me. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in this module. Have a great day.